Good evening, Chicago. I'm Winter Lake, streaming live at QUE4.com and AM 1710. Today has been a bit of chaos around the studio today, kind of, in my opinion, supernatural activity. A lot of mics going in and out and electricity. It may have to do with my guest today, who is speaking of alien consciousness. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good, Andre. So, to begin our discussion, as I said, maybe off the air, that I'm a slight skeptic of aliens, although I do feel that aliens exist, and they do come through vast areas of space and time through consciousness. You're of the opinion that I think that they exist here.
Oh, yes, 100%.
And how can you support that argument?
Well, leaders from military intelligence gave out information about extraterrestrials at, Indian Springs Gunnery Range in Nevada. 2 tall white extraterrestrials are living there on U.S. Air Force property.
So, how are they living there, though? I mean, is it just something that they popped up? Or, you sure it's not just something terrestrial?
I don't know how they got there, but U.S. Air Force intelligence did come forward and admit that, yes, they did have these tall whites living on U.S. Air Force property.
What were they?
Aliens.
But, that's just such a broad thing, okay? They're saying these things are aliens.
Yes.
Who are the witnesses?
The people at the base.
So they saw them? But, how did it get out? The word just is like...
Well, Charles Hall broke the story over when Charles Hall, who was at that, who did come in contact with them, he was scared out of his skin, and after a while they started building a good working relationship.
Interesting. So this guy Charles Hall, and what does he do?
He was in the military.
He was in the military?
Mm-hmm.
And he was just like an individual that had some kind of passcode or high, clearance or something?
Oh, yeah, all of that's all covered up with clearances that disable people from getting the full picture. But sometimes stuff does come out, for instance, like Charles Hall's case.
Mm-hmm. But, it doesn't clarify who Charles Hall is.
Oh, they didn't really get into much specifics, only that this event did occur, and that there are 2 aliens living there. Or not 2, but I don't know whether it's 1, 2, or 3, but it's definitely more than 1. And they were just living there, and they had peaceful contact, and they're real, they're here.
Weird. But, how did they arrive? Do you know? Or?
No, they didn't get into how they came. Although there were... for instance, like the Roswell crash, there were bodies that Linda Moten Howe got information on that one of them was an android fabric-shaped, or fabric-skinned.
In this android thing, but wouldn't that be a threat to national security? No,
they're not doing nothing. In fact, what they have been doing is deactivating nuclear missiles, for example, of Echo and November flight. And the military commanders at those facilities did state that, yes, there was a unidentified flying saucer type object near the premises of the base. They had multiple security alerts, and they are actively deactivating nuclear-tipped missiles at ICBM launch facilities.
I had heard a story once. When I was living in Washington, D.C., and I was near a military silo, and it's ironic that you're talking about this deactivating. In my opinion, I thought they were siphoning off power in order to try to escape, but then that makes me a believer, doesn't it? But this is just a tale that I had heard from someone who was in the military. He said that they were watching or monitoring a silo of some kind, and they were down in the bunker, and there was some kind of alert, and then they ran up and they found that all the lights were on and that the nuclear fission had been drained out of this silo. But the possibility is just odd, and this guy seemed very credible. And then they went back down in, and there were guys with black helicopters that came in, and they had found radiation or some kind of interference. It's mind-boggling to me. But these stories are so pervasive, it lends itself to thinking that there is some kind of thing going on, and I'm not sure where that's really going to go. I mean, Andre, do you think that you're in contact with aliens some kind? Or?
Absolutely not.
And what was your curiosity?
Well, all this information is coming from the Citizens Hearing on Disclosure, and they are the ones that collected this information from people within the military, and they decided to come and bring it out and disclose it at a Citizens Hearing, and that was on April 29th to May 3rd of this year, 2013.
Interesting. And what was the more of the disclosures? Do you know of any other disclosures, or was it just
well, this
that
same group,
event?
these same group have been pushing for congressional disclosure as well, as where they bring this information out from the top down. But they're really hoping to get the people alerted, and we got to go bottom up, where we demand these things from our government.
So you're saying something has to be done where you get more freedom of information to find out what has been exactly occurring.
Yes.
And are you working on that yourself, or is this
No,
just
I'm not.
hobby?
I'm just relaying some of this information. They do. Yes.
All right. Well, with that, we'll take a little break and enjoy some music. Possible, but I guess my music machine is acting up as well. So, Andre, you must be interfering with the whole studio today with your...
I guess I got some energy.
Your technological interference is here, and we have a caller that actually wanted to share some kind of supernatural or alien experience. How are you, Candy?
Doing good. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. So, what was your experience?
Well, let's see. I thought it was a dream I was having, but apparently they like to sneak in these little pretend things in your mind that make you think you're dreaming, but you're not really dreaming. So what it was this little small gray alien landed in a lot next to my house in what looked like a saucer, lit up like fireworks, different colors. Little gray alien just takes me by the hand and grabs my arm and draws a circle with a little triangle in the center of it. It lit up and then it disappeared. It stuck with me for a very long time. I never knew what that dream meant. It was very weird. It was a very weird experience. And when I find out later and I research, it tells me, sometimes they like to make you think you're dreaming when you're not really dreaming. So it was a little spooky, when you read that. But it was interesting. It was,
Yeah.
Oh, maybe they marked me. Who knows?
Well, so this thing was on your right or left arm?
It was on my right arm.
And it was some kind of
of it.
triangle. Because, other, abductees have had a very similar type of experience. And what do you think about that, Andre? What does this marking mean?
I don't know too much about that. I don't know what they're doing in terms of maybe trying to see if people are open to the confrontation,
Or to be later extricated or something.
I don't know. That's one of those questions that we definitely want to ask them.
The dream was very real for you, Candy. Was it like something you can just recall at will? And you're saying it's more than a dream?
Yeah, I can think about it, and the thing that what stood out the most, well, I thought it was cute, I was like, yeah, it's so cute, it was a little cute little alien, but, just because it has those big eyes, but other than that, I wasn't scared in the dream, or if it was a dream, I wasn't scared. Grabbed me by the hand, and just with the finger, just drew that shape, and it lit up, like I don't know, looked kind of metallic-y, kind of like a when you're looking like at the back of a sticker maybe or something that shines kind of, and then it disappeared. And it was just a circle with the triangle, and I think that's what stuck out the most, just the fact that the shape and the circle and the triangle, and every time I think about that dream, I think that's what sticks out the most, and I can picture it, and it's very clear in my mind still. I can't forget it.
Interesting. And
I've had several other experiences where, I see spaceships in my dream or whatever, but I don't even know if they're dreams or not.
So there's a lot of alien contact with you. And you're located where? Where are you located by?
I'm in Laredo, Texas. That would be a city very near the border.
Yeah, right.
Like
So that's
right
literally right on
Mexico.
top of the border. Have you
Yeah.
been to the Zone Silencio or no?
I've never had the privilege of going, but I've heard a lot about it, and I would love to visit. But there's a lot of stuff going on over there right now that doesn't allow us to go visit. So
There's just so much alien activity going on, like around the border and in Mexico. I mean, you see these footage of alien craft flying over a city or something. I mean, what is that?
To this day, I don't know. I've caught stuff on, my iPad. I'm outside looking at the stars now. After that dream, I look up into the sky, and any little light I see, I'm like, I wonder what that is. Is somebody looking back at me? What's going on?
You're waiting for them to take you away.
Recently, there was a... I'm sorry?
I said, I'm just teasing you. I said, you're waiting for them to take you away, Candy.
I wish. Right? That'd be interesting. And then come back with a story to tell.
I know, exactly.
No, very, very recently there was a man that called a radio station who actually had a significant, he thought he was dreaming, but it was very similar to my experience, where there were so many spaceships in the sky, and they were just picking up people, and it looked like everybody was designated to a different spaceship, kind of like they had their own planet they were going to, or their own spaceship that they pertained to. So that was another one that I was kind of like, whoa, we kind of had the same dream. Like, that's kind of weird, But it was it's very strange.
Yeah, that's uncanny because, as I was said, going back to your markings on your arm, that has been reiterated by different abductees or people that have had alien encounters. And, this weird designation areas or something that they know where they're going, or some kind of thing where we are going to this certain planet altogether. That's also repeated. There is just so much oddness. Where do you think they're talking about? Where is this world they're coming from? Do you have any idea, Andre, or what?
I know one of the places where they came from, Zeta Reticuli. That is one place where they're from, according to the disclosure people. And there's numerous locations where they come from. I can't recall them at the top of my head, but yeah, they come from along.
Does this space constellation really exist?
Yes. Yeah.
How far away is it?
Dozens of light years.
Interesting.
But they've already, entire beings and craft have already been teleported across vast distances, including here.
But how is that possible, though?
We really do have interstellar capable cosmic Watergate technology that is capable of teleportation basically from one end of the galaxy to another.
So you're saying that, we were given that, or...
I don't know. All I know is that we have one. I don't know how it was obtained, whether it was given, found, or whatnot, but we have one.
Well, it sounds very interesting.
And it's in we, the people, / the government's possession, because we, the people, are the government.
Well, with that, then I'm going to take a little break. I am Winter Lake at winterlake.com, streaming live at QUE4.com and AM 1710. We are broadcasting from QUE4.org. Andre, you are casting more spells on the studio, aren't you? So, while we were having our break, we were talking with Candy about something with telepathy. Candy, why do you think they're coming through telepathy? How is that real?
Well, I can tell you that the reason that I strongly believed that they're going through telepathy was because when I had my sort of non-dream, that was all, the conversation was all telepathy. Also, I I'm a single mother. I don't really have time to be, at the time, thinking about, aliens and all that stuff. Like, I'm into, like, ghosts and that kind of, stuff kind of turns me on, but aliens I never really gave a second thought to, and then I had that dream, so out of nowhere, it was kind of like, after that, I just had a fascination for them after that, looking at the sky, and, but the whole conversation was always, it was telepathically, it was never verbal from what I saw in my dream, from the little gray guy. So that's what I think, is occurring.
Well, the gray guys are your friends, then.
I thought he was a cute little gray guy, with huge eyes, just the cutest little thing. I wasn't scared. Some people, describe them as scary beings and, fearful. I was not scared. I went willingly. It grabbed my hand. I was okay with it. I don't have any traumatization, like I don't
weird.
them moving me or, So, I mean, I don't have that kind of, like, flashbacks. People do say that they have flashbacks of getting tortured and stuff, but I don't have that at all from this experience. So,
yeah.
I didn't pick up that they were bad guys in my dream, you know what I mean? So, I mean...
Right, so they were more like your friends, so you're an alien hybrid.
I may be. Who knows? I mean, there's a reason that they're marking people, I think. I wish I knew what the triangle with the circle meant. Maybe somebody out there knows. Maybe they've gotten the same marking. Maybe we're related in some astral world that we don't know of. And then after that, I was just fascinated by aliens, by that whole supernatural stuff. It's very interesting to me now, and I've never been one to be into sci-fi.
Right,
that
right.
Experience.
Andre, do you think that alien hybrids exist?
I'm not sure, but I'm sure if the two species are similar, they might get together and make a baby.
But I mean, not that. I mean, I guess that would be it. But I mean, you haven't heard anything? You mean in all of your explorations of it?
Alien hybrids? No, I never really delved into that region.
Interesting. And what is your knowledge of this Area 51?
Well, I know that we have alien reproduction vehicles that crashed. We reverse engineered them, and now we have flying saucers at Nellis Air Force Base, Section 4.
And what is this? I mean, how do you know? I mean, just something
Well,
that
this
you
was
heard?
what sworn witness testimony from the citizens hearing on disclosure. They came forward and disclosed that piece of information.
Interesting. So this Section 4, I'm not familiar. Is it? I mean, I know that Area 51 is the size of Massachusetts. That it does have a vast array of different areas. Some of them where they practice their radioactive training and all of this. Where is Section 4, and is it inside to what area? Do you know?
I'm not sure. All I know is that there is a Section 4, and that is where they are keeping and housing the alien reproduction vehicles that they were capable of reverse engineering and replicating.
Well, then that goes right into what we were talking about alien hybrids, because you're saying reproduction vehicles or something. So they're obviously doing some kind of tampering.
Well, all we've done is reproduce the alien vehicles that had crashed on Earth, and we have reverse engineered them, and they are located at Area 51. In fact, Admiral Wilson, one of Stephen M. Greer's friends who was quoted by Stephen Greer at the citizens' hearing that the best thing he's got is the B-2 stealth. With this secret organization, according to Admiral Wilson, is things that can do circles around his B-2 stealth, meaning that a lot of the flying saucers are not necessarily alien; they are human-propelled.
They're terrestrial, so
yes.
then they're created by our government or by some government.
Yes,
they're vastly more superior technologically.
Oh yes.
In doing so. So they were doing these programs, they're practicing. What are these crafts called?
I don't recall the specific names, but they have given them unique names to identify each craft.
And this is stuff or machines that the United States government has?
Yes. It is in the government / the people's possession.
And these are things that were reverse engineered.
Yes.
Do you know what happened to the aliens?
Well, at the Roswell crash, I think one of them was They didn't say what happened to one of them, but another one they said that they cut him open. They did an incision, and turned out the skin of one of the beings at the Roswell crash was fabric, not flesh, but fabric.
Some kind of fabric. I mean, that's so weird.
As in artificially created.
And you don't think that any of this was just disinformation? You really believe this? You don't think
Yes,
that...
this was under, they obtained this information via Freedom of Information requests because, truth be told, the people are the supreme power, and if they tell Congress to declassify intelligence reports, it doesn't matter if it's cosmic clearance only, they have the right to subpoena any of that information via Freedom of Information Act.
So from that, and there was some legal process, so you're getting your information from the...
Citizens Hearing on Disclosure, who went through these FOIA, Freedom of Information requests.
Interesting. It's a lot of work. I mean,
yes.
Because my knowledge on the Roswell incident, yeah, it's vast, and there's thousands of different theories and things and how it appeared in the paper. But in my opinion, I really thought that Roswell was just disinformation placed by the CIA. So you're saying it was a cover-up?
No, I'm not saying that. There was a cover-up, yes, but the first initial reports were the true reports. Because when it first initially happened, they said, yeah, we have a flying saucer that crashed and had this description, like very lightweight material that had hieroglyphic encoding on it. And then the papers, for the first time, as soon as it happened, they reported the truth. They're like, oh my God, we just had a flying saucer crash. Let's investigate this. And then they were later told to cover it up with other stories. But the first initial reportings were all true, and it was the truest account that is available.
I mean, truth, though, is so arbitrary. One man's truth is another man's deception.
Oh, these are just objective observations.
And this thing about the balloon that was on the media, they had the picture of the balloon or something. That was all a joke.
If it was a balloon, it wouldn't be classified or kept secret under any circumstance. They wouldn't have had armed guards transport the crash material if it was just a balloon. That's not their standard protocol for such an operation.
There is a book in Area 51. It takes into a real logical, clinical account of Area 51 that says that crash was something created by Stalin or something. Have you read that? It was something that it was all fabricated with small alien people or something. I mean, there's just so much different angles.
Well, who knows? I mean, one of them was an android.
I mean, it's just vast technology. I've been on Area 51. I snuck in. I've been around there back when you could actually do it. You can't do it so much. And I found it just to be an open desert that is, kind of split off into different arrays with a lot of hangars and a lot of underground bunker stuff.
I'd bet most of the work goes on underground.
Yeah, I wouldn't even go in there. It was quite an excursion in my younger days. I'm still young, but I was always had a fascination with it also that they just blatantly say that Area 51 doesn't exist. And it just so does. What do you think is going to be the future for aliens? Is it telepathic consciousness, or is it...
Well, they do have technology-assisted telepathy. I'm not very firm. I have my own theories on that. I wish not to get into that too much. But yes, there are technologies that can assist in telepathic processes.
Why don't you want to get into that too much?
It's a dirty world that's deep black.
You mean? Well, I mean, you seem to be staving off from that. You mean telepathy as far as alien consciousness projecting through the mind, or is it mind control?
I'm not sure exactly. I'm sure there's a whole range of experiences that I'm not aware of that could be of natural order, although I'm not familiar with any.
And Candy, you think that the aliens are coming through telepathically?
I do, only because in my experience, he didn't have to say a word to me. And I say he because I picked up the presence of a male. It wasn't female. I don't even know how I could even begin to think that, but just the sense of him in my dream was of male. And anything that was spoken to me was spoken through mind, not through verbal speech. But I understood him clearly. So It was just more of a, like, everything's okay, I don't mean any harm, like, he didn't ever tell me, like, oh, I'm going to put this mark on you. He just did the mark, He didn't ask me for permission, he just did it. But I never once felt threatened in any way or endangered.
And so you never saw any kind of verbal movement. It was clearly just telepathic.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah, no, it was never like, with a finger, like, come here, or, nothing of that nature. Just grabbed my hand and pulled, like, kind of walks with me, like, come on, everything is okay, and for whatever reason, it didn't have, like, a gender. Like, you couldn't tell if it was a male or female. It was just, I knew, for whatever reason, I felt that it was a male. So
interesting. Yeah, it was just your impression. And the voice, did it sound male as well, or was it soft?
The voice was, it was just so, it wasn't like a male voice. It was just I don't even know how to describe it, to be honest with you. It was just a voice of calmness and, like, everything's okay. Like, I felt very safe, I don't even know if that's describing the voice, but it wasn't forced. It wasn't a hoarse kind of voice. It wasn't soft. It was just in between that. I just felt very safe.
Well, I mean, that goes along with a lot of hypnosis, and techniques to pacify an individual. So it's interesting that possibly they were, psychically influencing you. Clearly it was psychic, and then they had maneuvered you some way to give you this mark. Have you gone over to Mexico to the Sun and Moon Temple? Have you
Me?
Yeah, have you been over there?
No. No, I've never had a chance. I wish I could go.
Because there's some
I've never...
Yeah. Because there's some kind of thing going on with aliens across more over there as well. I mean, like, it's going back to what I said about Mexico and this pervasive alien encounters. Do you think that there's something over there?
The only thing that I would think that may be causing it is maybe the violence. Maybe the energy that the violence gives off attracts them. I don't know if that's something, or if it's just they're anti-violence and that's what attracts them there. Maybe they're trying to see what's going on, because there is a lot of violence in Mexico right now,
Yeah, we'll have to get into that, because you are on the border and there's no real, published information on that whatsoever. It's almost like that in itself, the violence that's going on, has been completely black-opped almost to the aliens. So, do you think, Andre, that the aliens are attracted to a particular person or place?
I don't know.
So you don't really know. Not really anything to add on that.
No.
Well, with that, I guess we will play
I do know that they are involved with deactivating nuclear missiles.
Well, you mentioned that, but what would be their purpose? Well, that would be anti-arsenal stuff.
Yeah, anti-violence, anti-nuclear war.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting, so that does go with it. And he does. And I am Winter Lake. We're streaming live, QUE4.org. winterlake.com and AM 1710 for your rush hour commute. And it's kind of wild out here. We have been speaking about aliens all day, and aliens coming through consciousness, not through long distances. We've been chatting with Candy, who is across the border, and while we were listening to a little music, she was sharing with me some of these issues about this violence over the border, and I think it's been very underreported. Candy, what are some of these things that are going on by the border? I mean, you've lived there your whole life. What is going on?
Well, they call it a war on drugs. People trying to one-up each other in Mexico. What I call it is just a lack of, government, maybe. There's massive killings, massive hangings, you name it. There's, tons of violence over there. It's just, and it trickles over here as well, and it all has to deal with the same thing, which are the Mexican drug cartels and their fight for power.
Their fight for power. You mean, are they having like public executions with these hangings, or?
Yeah, let's see. They just recently had what they call a feria, which is like a carnival. They music, dancing, bands. I mean, I've been there before the violence, and it's the best time ever, but as of recently, apparently, there's like 3 bodies hanging while these people are having this carnival go on, and everybody's just acting like nothing in the world is happening, like if it's an everyday thing. They're getting so used to it over there, and it's like 3 bodies hanging from a bridge or from a certain, type of tower, and all this going on is like families taking, their kids and enjoying themselves while these hangings are occurring right in the middle of the whole, scene. So it's crazy.
And this is new stuff too. This goes on daily, but did this just occur?
Yes, it actually just did occur. They have this carnival thing go on maybe twice a year. They have one in February, and they just recently had one probably at the beginning of October. So that's when those hangings occurred, with the 3 bodies hanging from this type of like wire or type of tower that was in that. And nobody reported seeing anything go on. They just saw the bodies hanging. They usually, what they do is they'll write, I don't know, like on big paper, and they'll put the reason as to why they're doing it, and they'll put the names, like either these people were hung because they told on us, which they're known as the Zetas, they told on us, and this is the reason why they're being hung, or they're just being hung because they, did something else, they were drug dealers and we just took power over them. It's just a statement, pretty much, is what they're doing.
Yes, absolutely.
One of the most
it's a statement that incurs violence and fear. And, that's what's been going on, like to just control the mass population. Has there been any effort at all to try to subdue them?
On our side, no. I don't see it happening on our side. I just see that they do, they get new presidents on the daily, but the statements of, we just stole the police captain from Mexico, comes out, and it's kind of like, well, if they can do that, what else can they do, they just got the captain of the police department from Mexico. They usually have bodyguards and stuff like that for that, and they still get to them, and they kidnap these people, and they hold them for days, and then maybe let them go. If not, they kill them. It kind of puts that tone of, if they can get to the higher-ups, what kind of power do they really have? What kind of control do they have? They don't really have control,
No, they don't. So this abduction of the police captain, they just went into his house at night, these Zetas, and got him.
Yeah. That's how it usually works. Or if they're out and about, say they're, for whatever reason investigating the crime scene, that's when they'll do the snatching. They'll go and kidnap the person that's there. It could be a cop, it could be, a good guy, and, they just take them. But yeah, I think one of the most memorable stories or things that had happened over there was about this lady who was in a hair salon, and she was discussing the Zetas because they had just been in the news about something that they had done, and she was talking about them so badly and so loudly that, I guess, well, one of them happened to be in the chair sitting next to her getting his hair cut. And as soon as she started talking about him, he cleared out the whole room. And people didn't stop to ask why. They just listened, They walked out, and they told her, like, either you let us scalp you or you die. And
Scalp? You mean SCALP?
Yeah, they
Old Indian?
Yeah, they cut. Yes. Yes.
Okay,
they cut her hair so close to the scalp that she was bleeding, like she was missing skin on her head.
And this was for discussing them, for just talking.
That simply saying how violent they are, how bad they are, and how come they can't just go away, type of stuff. And that's what they did to her. They don't care. They don't care to what point they'd hurt somebody. They made a teenager swallow a grenade, and he exploded like in the middle of a plaza. you know.
And you know about all this because you're right there on the border, and it's very well publicized. And up here with the blackout media going on in Chicago, you never hear about it. This grenade thing is perplexing. Where did that happen?
This happened right in Nuevo Laredo. It's like right across the border. It happened in a little plaza, and it just happened in the middle of the day. They made him swallow a grenade. He swallowed it, exploded, and it was just, they didn't say the reason why. They just try to prove a point of they don't care from what age to what age, you know, is going to get it. It's just more like we have the power and nobody's going to stop us. And, I mean, what is funny is that grenades are things that are used in war. You know, how are they getting these, you know, how are they accessing these weapons? Like, I mean, they have tanks. They have actual camps for, you know, kind of government-type armies where they go and they train these people to cause all this violence, you know, in Mexico, you know, in a separate little camp, like a kind of like an army retreat for them.
Well, it is. It sounds military. I mean, you can't be running tanks and camps. I mean, clearly it's some kind of alternate government in power opposing the regular Mexican government. What is the Mexican government trying to do?
I think they try to pretend that they have it in control, but they don't. I think that our government has a lot to do with what is going on as well. Sad to say, but I think that, you know, that is why they can't stop it. That's why they don't send troops to go and, you know, try to really protect the border with, you know, their tanks and their, you know, I mean, I don't know, they don't treat it like they do to Iraq, or, you know, they don't make it seem like it's a big issue, but I think that it is, and eventually it could trickle, you know, back, I mean, over here. I mean, there has been violence on this side of the border, you know, but... What
kind of violence has been going on? So from Laredo being right there, what are you seeing coming over?
Kidnappings.
You know someone who's
shooting,
been kidnapped yourself?
Stabbing.
Stabbings? So how are they kidnapping? I mean, have you seen that yourself or had any connection with that?
The way that they do it, unmarked cars, vans, blacked out windows, people wearing masks with their long rifles, usually wearing army attire, kind of clothing, camouflage, army boots, go right up to the person, put a bag over their head, and take them. And that's how they're kidnapped. And you never see them again, or you find them dead, or they just disappear completely, and it's like they find them dead in Mexico, you know? I mean, they're
abducting for money. So what they'll do is they'll go capture someone and then say, hey, we need $10,000, and then when they don't pay, they're killing these people.
Yeah, pretty much. That's how it works.
And what, you know, I heard this rumor about the bridge. You don't even cross this bridge, right? What is this bridge?
No. I'm scared to go to Mexico. I will never
go to Mexico?
go over there.
But you are Mexican, or no, you're from the United States.
I'm from the United States. I'm Mexican American.
Right.
And I used to be able to walk across that bridge. Like, there is a bridge that you could walk across and just be in Mexico from, you know, one step. Like, that's all it takes, you know, and you'll be there. But as soon as 2003 started coming around, violence started to pick up, and it started getting worse. And that's when people wouldn't go over there. Except now, you know, there's the younger generation that don't know really what's going on. You know, they hear the stories of how awesome it is, and you can drink at 18, and it's awesome, but they don't think about the violence. Just recently, there was a girl who was 18 who went over there to go see a concert, and she got shot twice in the head because she was dating somebody that was affiliated with the Zetas, and they shot her. You know, he got arrested, he thought it was her, and they shot her.
There's just so much violence. I mean, there's something about 2 women that went over that got captured. I mean, these are rumors that I hear. Have you heard that rumor?
Actually, one of them was my friend. We went to high school together. We were in the dance team together. Her name was Brenda. I knew her since like the 5th grade. Went to a concert with her friend. A very famous singer, Mexican singer, came to Nuevo Laredo, and they went over there, and they went missing, and then they were never heard from again. And the rumors were swirling. They don't know if they were dead. Some say they were used as gifts for, drug lords. That somebody else brought them and gave them away as gifts, and they were just using them to rape them or drug them and rape them and use them as their sexual toy, I guess. And they never found their bodies. So to this day, they still have hope that maybe they're alive, but, we all know that they're probably not alive, So
you've been really watching this. You've taken a serious concern with this. Aside from the alien experiences, are you really documenting and reporting on a lot of this other encounters? I mean, being right there, it's like spectacular, crazy violence, because up here in Illinois, we don't hear about it. Is there a news blackout?
No, these are all stories that people, I guess you can say that, people that you grew up with that maybe fell into the wrong crowd, that talk about it at a party, or that, hey, I was around so-and-so and we went and we kidnapped this guy. Sometimes you can hear it from the source's mouth, and that's what's crazy about it. Like, there's people that I can tell you are probably affiliated with them. Do I tell on them? No, because I'm scared for my life.
Of course, that's not your game. I mean, it's just so odd because there's no media on it, and there's heavy violence.
No, yeah, and I think the reason for that is because they try to keep it so hush-hush for whatever reason. I think they try to keep it out of the media, and that's where I think our government has a lot to do with what's going on over there. The less that you guys know, the better, kind of thing. And because we're right here, who's going to listen to us? Nobody really knows where Laredo is. They're like, where is that, I mean, it's just so tiny. It's like a little insignificant little town, compared to, Illinois or California, But I don't know. I don't know why they don't publicize it more. If they did, I think it would, help. I definitely think that the violence would start to slow down a little bit. I mean, maybe if our government took some sort of action and, got involved in some way and helped out.
I mean, it almost sounds like a war, and we're going to return to that shortly. I am Winter Lake at winterlake.com. We are streaming at QUE4.org on AM 1710. And we are definitely bringing out some black op information that has not been talked about. We shall return shortly. We're back, and I am Winter Lake, winterlake.com, streaming at QUE4.org and AM 1710. It was interesting. My caller and I have been discussing a lot of the aliens and as well as the violence that is going on in Mexico. And it was so odd because when we had been touching on the telepathic or consciousness aspect of aliens and how they intervene with us, my guest, Andre, began to shake and become erratic. And he like abruptly left, and he was withholding information. So he must have, with all of his studies or something, been kind of concerned about what we were talking about. Wouldn't you say, Candy?
I think so. And either that or I scared him with something I said. I have no idea. I mean, no idea.
I think you scared him off. You are the Wicked Witch of the border, aren't you?
Maybe I am. And maybe it just freaked him out with the whole, what are they attracted to? Maybe it's violence? I don't know. It was weird. That's weird.
Yeah, because then he was like, they're deactivating our nuclear weapons, and he ran out. So.
I have no idea. I feel bad.
I don't know. You just don't like to be crowded,
Yeah, I got to take command of the attention and get the room.
There you go. I mean, he was
try my best. What can I say?
I don't know what he was kind of, shaking, and he seemed upset. He may have been in a rush to go somewhere, but Andre will probably have to have him back on to explain some of this extraterrestrial things that he knows, because when he came in, he had this whole file of disinformation, not disinformation, that's the wrong word, declassified documents, because he's a heavy hitter studier of all of these different things, alien-wise. And for him, he was definitely, I felt, withholding. You know, don't you think, Candy? He was like, I don't know, and he was kind of in a rush to not speak anything about the truth or something. Or whatever.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't know what he was like before I was on, but definitely noticed a little. There's something there. It was a little weird. He was being a little cold, I guess, like a cold interview all of a sudden. I was hoping he could tell me what that symbol meant, since he's into it, but I don't know. I mean, he just definitely kind of got quiet all of a sudden. I'm like, maybe there's crickets in the room all of a sudden. I don't know what's going on.
Maybe he is an alien hybrid. Maybe we outed an alien hybrid then. Because it was so odd. Because I mentioned to him, I said, you know, are you an alien hybrid or something? And he said, I don't know, I don't believe, or something. And then he's like, then he was talking about reproductive devices. And I'm like, wait a second, that is alien hybrid things.
Yeah, you called him out.
I mean, right? I mean, he's like, they've re-engineered alien reproduction something. And I was like, what are you talking about? That's exactly what I just said, because I'm trying to get to the bottom of your symbol as well. A couple people have emailed me about your symbol. It looks like it's definitely a marker. Do you feel like you're marked? Do you feel like it's a marker for some later date?
After that, yes. Now, I don't feel any different. I feel pretty much the same. But after that, I definitely did feel that meant something. It was very significant, though. And I can tell you, because it was a feeling of when it was done, that's what stuck out the most. It was just, it was very significant. I know that. Like, I don't know, for whatever reason, it was important. I just don't know what it means. And I'm like looking up on the internet, like triangle and circle, and what does it mean together, you know, but nothing's going to tell you. I have no idea.
Well, I mean, the triangle and the circle, I mean, obviously that's Illuminati, or, you know, the Opus Dei symbol and the dollar bill. Did it look like something like that, or, you know, Novo Sordo Seclorum, New World Order symbol or something?
You know, I wish I could say that that's what it meant, but no, I mean, I'm very good about, I don't know, picking up on stuff like that, and I didn't for one second think about those symbols. I just thought, you know, it's a circle and a triangle, but it was significant, you know what I mean? And I just wish I knew what it meant, and for whatever reason, that's the only thing that I did not ever find out. Like, I did not know, and I wish to this day that I could have asked, like, what is that for? But I just telepathically felt that was the marking that it was giving me, and then that was, you know, I mean, I was just... It
led you down that path of fascination. Yeah, some other people are emailing me, and they definitely think that you're marked. I mean, but you don't feel that you're marked. You don't think they're going to come for you at a later date or something?
I think that eventually maybe I do.
So you have some kind of intuition that they might be coming for you or something?
Yes.
See,
yes,
that's and that does not scare you at all.
No, it doesn't. From what I experienced, it made me feel not endangered at all. I feel more danger being around people that are human beings as opposed to this little gray creature that I see, you know. For whatever reason, I did not feel threatened or scared. I felt safe, and I didn't feel any type of violence or anything. So no, I'm not scared.
Yeah, the human being element is obviously, I mean, especially with the degree of violence that you're being exposed to down there near Laredo. And, you know, so you do not even go to Mexico. You won't go there anymore?
No, not at all. I mean, just with the recent thing that happened with that girl that was 18 who went over there and got shot in the head twice by maybe a boyfriend or whoever. I mean, that just alone tells you, you know, if you are in the wrong place at the wrong time, you can either get kidnapped, murdered, kept over there. I mean, and some of them don't even do it for money. Some of them just do it because they want to give you as a favor or as a gift, as a present to somebody.
That's crazy. So this woman just got shot. Are these decapitations or beheadings real, or is it just fabricated?
Yes. No, they're real.
What is that about?
There was a family, and here's what's funny, because they could either go both ways. They could be good guys or they could be bad guys. In this case, I would kind of call them good guys. So what happened there is there's a family, and they're on a road trip in Mexico in their vehicle, and they have like an ice chest in the back, I guess for sandwiches and stuff like that. They get pulled over on the side of the road from what looked like to them Zetas. And, they threatened, stole their vehicle, took their money, took their belongings, and ran off. 2 seconds down the road, or 5 minutes down the road later, comes a vehicle with actual Zetas in the car, asks them what happened, and they say, well, guys that were dressed like you that said that they were your team came and stole our vehicle. They ran off, these guys, and they went after that car, came back and told the family, open the ice chest so you can see what's inside it. And they didn't want to. They were scared. And once they said, if you don't open it, we're going to kill you, opens the ice chest, and they're the heads of the guys that stole their vehicle. The reason that they did that was because they were upset that they were pretending to be them. They were trying to prove a point. Like, you can't pretend to be us because we are the guys that do this,
Right. So they had these fabricators that were, saying they were the Zetas Cartel, and then they went and captured them and beheaded them. Wow.
That went and grabbed them, yeah. That's what happened. And see, a lot of the people, because, Mexico's, it's not very rich. They don't have plenty of money. People are, they try to do everything. They used to sell bracelets on the side of the road for $1, whatever they can do to make money. So it's not, economically, it's not stable. So I can see why they would try to mimic these people. If I can get a car and money and, belongings, hey, I'm going to do it. But they don't think about the consequences later, and unfortunately these guys pretended to be somebody that they shouldn't have, and they got killed. Decapitated, basically. So, and then they let the family go. So, the guys, the actual Zetas didn't kill this family. They just let them go. But, it was at the price of these other guys. But
obviously, was the family just some Americans on tour, or was it actual just other Mexicans driving around?
There were other Mexicans that they travel. It was another Mexican-owned RV. So
is it naivety that they were driving around up there? Do people know or starting to know what's going on in Mexico, or like where not to go? Or is it all over? Is it just basically the border area, or is their territory expanding?
I think that I noticed it get closer to Nuevo Laredo mostly. Most of the violence is happening there. Some of it does trickle over. Like I said, there are people that walk around here with guns and think that, they're the king of the world because they have a gun and start shooting, and those are people that I think come from over there who think that, it's like Mexico, but it's not, just because we're so close to it. Do I think it would get farther into, maybe where you're at? It's hard to say. I don't think so. I would hope not. But if it does, I would hope that our government could intervene at some point. But
how big is the Zeta territory in Mexico? Does it go down to another city? Do you know what that is? Do you know?
If I could guess, I would say maybe Juarez. It goes pretty far. It's a whole territory. It's all Mexico, pretty much. They're everywhere.
So you're saying that that cartel is all over Mexico. It's not even just designated.
No, there's no. The only designation they have is this section, like, say if it's Guadalajara belongs to a certain group of cartel, like it's a different leader, but then there's like, in Juarez it's a different cartel, but they all come from the same clique, sort of, but they have a separate leader, kind of like a tribe, I guess. They have one chief, but then they have all these little sergeants or, something like that.
Interesting. Do you know who the other cartel they're in competition with is?
I don't know exactly. I just know that it's always, somebody big dies, somebody else wants that spot. That's all I know. I don't know if there is, like, a competition. I just know that there are families that are vying for that spot, like their last name wants to be big, so.
Right, so like a Zeta would have their thing, and so you're finding them to be the strongest gang within Mexico or cartel, as opposed to, I hear something else about some others, but the name escapes me, something 4 or something, I don't even know. That was something that was mentioned about one of the cartel leaders being apprehended, and then he was replaced right away. So they have a hierarchy, and it's centralized right over the border from where you are. Is that their headquarters?
Yes, I would think it is, because that's where all of it happens, and that's where they actually caught the headset that you're talking about. I think it was 40, which means 40. I think that was his name.
Yeah, it's not the Hatchet. Do you know who the Hatchet was? That was a previous guy, or maybe affiliated with a different guy.
I think he was just a person that the reason they called him that was because he used something to chop people up.
Right.
They give different nicknames to different guys. I know that there was one that, I don't know if they called him kind of like Soup, because he would dip people in acid and melt their skin in these tanks of acid.
You can't even make this stuff up. Wow. Who is this guy?
I don't know exactly what his nickname was. I just know it was something like having to do with soup of some sort. I don't remember exactly the name. I can't think of it right now, but yeah, he had a nickname having something to do with that, because that was his specialty of the way he would kill people. So they all get their nicknames depending on, what they do, or, where they're at and what position they hold.
And how they kill people,
Yeah.
Quite obviously, being the Hatchet and these other types. It's just perplexing. And we are going to take another break. I am Winter Lake at winterlake.com. We are streaming at QUE.org. Streaming live at QUE4.org. And it's so interesting when we are off mic, the conversations that we're having. We're still kind of analyzing our friend Andre and his reactions to some of the alien telepathic interference that was going on. And even though Candy is probably several thousand miles away, she was picking up on something. So you're a tad bit psychic, too, to know that, or it was just something you were kind of relaying, Candy?
I don't know. I just heard him talk, and I just picked up on weird. I don't even know how to describe it. He just gave me a weird vibe. Is that weird to say? I don't know. It was just a strange feeling. It wasn't good or bad. It was just definitely felt like he was hiding something, and he didn't want to say something, or like he got scared for whatever reason. But who knows?
Yeah, I know. I don't know.
But I picked up on scared, or
yeah, I guess
either that or
he realized
boring.
He was talking.
I don't know.
Well, he realized he was talking with a real alien priestess then.
Who knows? Maybe.
He's like, this is an alien. I don't know. You never know, man.
You can hear my thoughts.
I know, right? I don't know.
Maybe.
So, there's been a couple questions about this Zone Silencio. And you said you've never been there and you're not going back to Mexico again. Do you feel that all of Mexico is unsafe? Or is it
there's definitely vacation spots that people probably can go to. Maybe Cancun being one of them, party designation. There's Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico's not really in Mexico, but, it's, across whatever, oceans. But, there's people that do say that there is violence in certain areas, and I know I hear more about certain parts than others, and it's definitely, I guess vacation spots maybe are safe, but not not like right here across next door. I wouldn't go to vacation in Laredo. I wouldn't vacation in Guadalajara or Juarez or, any of those type of small towns where, that kind of violence is really, you hear about it on a daily,
Daily basis.
Yeah, daily.
And you wouldn't walk across the bridge.
No, I know people that do it. My sister-in-law goes to Mexico a lot because they do sell cheap medicine, and there's cheap doctors, and a lot of people go over there because, they can't afford to see doctors in the U.S. or, whatever. And she has to go, and we tell her not to, trust me. She goes in the most downed outfit you can imagine. Shorts, no makeup, no jewelry, wears the most horrendous outfit she can think of, so she sort of goes incognito, I guess, she wouldn't wear her regular nice clothes and stuff because she's scared, for her life as well. I mean, they see you in a nice car, you're definitely going to get that car either, stopped on the side of the road and taken, or, it just attracts too much attention. So a lot of people that do go over there try to tone it down, try not to attract the bad guys.
This woman goes in disguise? Walks in disguise across the bridge to go to the other side?
Yeah, she'll wear a cap and stuff
that is
to hide her face.
And if they
sports bra, she won't wear like a bra because
she
wants
horrible homeless gear and trying to hide out. I mean, you don't think they're going to catch on? They're watching the bridge.
Yeah, definitely. I don't mean to laugh. It's not funny.
It's just crazy.
It literally says I wear a sports bra, so it doesn't look like I have, too much breast going on, and, people don't, men aren't checking me out to kidnap me for this or that,
Oh, my gosh, you gotta worry
that's the
about
reason
that.
I laugh.
Yeah, I know.
But,
You have to worry about it. I mean, I'm a little perplexed that she is, disguising herself. And, you don't hear that in the media blackout. I mean, that should be primetime news. I mean, that people in the United States are, having to cross over, and it's so unsafe that if they wear something halfway decent or a piece of jewelry that they're going to get snagged right off the bridge.
Yeah. So no, you can't really, unfortunately, certain places are probably not safe to go to. I know people that don't care and still go travel over there, but, it's at a risk, and sometimes it's at a price. You can either be seen from again or never heard from again, and it's kind of like, which one are you willing to take, It's sad.
Yeah, it is sad, because, the risk is way too high. So that if they catch on, they'll skin you or abduct you, and all this kind of nonsense going on. It just sounds like insanity. And, again, I don't hear anything about it. And it's unfortunate because there is so much alien or odd things going on in Mexico, with all these sightings and the Zone Silencio, that you can't really go there now. Do you think they would, it's the same thing. If they see a tourist or something in the zone, they're watching that too?
They might be. I don't know if they would be maybe around that area, but it's kind of one of those things, if you're in the wrong spot at the wrong time, it could, something could go down. You never know. It's kind of like you have to be watching your back 24/7, and it's risky. I would love to go and visit, to find out more and to see, all this, alien stuff, because it fascinates me now, but it's at a price, and I don't know if I'd want to risk it. I feel like I'm bargaining with my life, sort of, by even just setting foot over there. I won't do it for anything in the world anymore.
There is no price. You have the human element that is just way crazy with their violence, and you're kept from seeing these spectacular places like the Sun and Moon Temple, like the Zone of Silence and all of these other renowned alien things, and you can't go there because you'll get abducted. It's just insanity. And I saw this footage, going back to what I was saying, have you seen anything odd in the sky? Because, somebody sent me this link that shows these ships traveling over a city or something, and they clearly look alien to me, in Mexico. So are you seeing odd things in the sky all the time or not?
When I get lucky, I'll see something in the sky that kind of freaks me out, and I'm like, what was that? And it's like, in a blink of an eye, it's gone, and it's like, oh my God, I don't know if that's like a plane or if it was a, spaceship. I mean, I have no idea, but definitely have gone outside and taken video of stuff and lights and crazy things in the sky. I mean, and we're so close to the border, it's hard to tell if it's the attraction to the violence, if it's attraction to maybe that's where their, bases or, I mean, I think it could be because that's where most of this, the videos are taken and this stuff is happening. It's like right across the border. I mean, sometimes I get to see it too. I mean, I think I have a video actually on YouTube as well of some crazy lights. I don't have the link right now, but I can send it to you later. Maybe you can go ahead and pass it around.
And this was one that you had taken yourself, or you had uploaded it, or just you had seen it?
Yeah. See, the funny thing was, it was a cloudy night, and we were outside sitting on a swing and just enjoying the weather because it looked like it was about to rain, and it was, there was thunder and lightning. And right when because we're shooting the clouds, for whatever reason, my mom likes to videotape weather.
Right.
Like videotaping the clouds and the massive, like, lightning light show that's going on. And then in a side, you see a little glowing, it looks like a little triangle on the side, like with a little zip of a tail of a light, it's dragging the little ship in the back of it, and it's just lit up, but it's so tiny that you don't even know, you can't tell what it is, but it just looks weird, and it's happening while this storm is going on. And when we played back the video, we see it, so we went and we posted it on YouTube, and we also linked it to a local paranormal agency that's here in Laredo, and yeah, I mean, it was pretty weird. It was very random, and that was something we'd seen in the sky.
There is something with these lightning storms that I've been learning about with alien encounters as well, that they somehow can come through a storm, bending time or reality, and that is like their entry gate. And, there's just so much of that going on right where you are and right around in the Bermuda Triangle area. It's, it's so interesting because I even saw footage from a storm in Florida, and then there was immediately after some kind of thing, this craft moves out over this football field. And it was just so weird and random, but it was low, and again, taken by just amateur photographers, playing the game, and then they looked up and you could just see this thing moving across the sky at a high rate of speed. Now, is that a drone? Is that terrestrial? Is that weather scopers? But that doesn't make sense. That doesn't hold water, because why would they be doing that during that storm that jeopardizes whatever terrestrial thing it was? It had to be extraterrestrial, and it even looks extraterrestrial on the whole, pictures that I've seen. So there's some kind of gateways through storms that are perplexing me as well.
Definitely.
And it's
I don't think that, you know how there's government drones. I mean, those drones are they're supposed to be not seen or heard. So I don't think they would have lights on them, So I really wouldn't think it's a drone as far as our government, because those are supposed to be hidden objects. We're not supposed to see them or hear them, for security purposes or whatever they're doing. But I definitely can rule that it's not, our government sending these things as drones, because I don't think they'd have lights on them at all.
So what you had seen was a craft with lights of some kind.
It definitely was something I had never seen before in this video during that lightning storm. And there was no rain at the time. It was definitely lightning, cloudy, and, but for whatever reason, I don't know if it's the energy and the lightning. I don't know if it's, I have no idea what it could have been, but it happened during that time, and you return through the video and you see the recording and you just see that little light, and it's like green and red lights on it, and it looks like it's pulling like another little ship or something in the back of it that's also lit up. It was very weird. So yeah, I mean, I definitely do think that, it was extraterrestrial, for sure.
And this is not something you're even chasing. This is something that just, found you. You know, you're not going out of your way to even look for it, and it's just like stumbling in the randomness of things. Like with your conscious dream or your unconscious dream, or if it's even quantified as a dream. And these, you know, things with your mother, and you guys are filming, and then all of a sudden you see a ship. It's just, it's bizarre. And you get it like that, just regular people, you know, that having these odd encounters. You know, they're not like Andre, who's going out of his way to hunt them and has all this stuff and declassified documents and, you know, a government hound and all this. It's just so
definitely not
random. Because you guys were just at this spot, and your mother wants to film this, you know, lightning storm. And people do want to do that. And then you see an alien craft, so lucky you.
And that's what I'm saying. You know, you do see a lot of fake videos, but then it happens to you, and you're like, what the heck is that in the sky? Like, we didn't even see it when we were recording. Like, we actually were looking back on it, and all of a sudden it was there, and it was kind of like, you know, this is the kind of stuff you see on TV, and you're like, that's crazy. That can never happen. You know, and it's made up. It's a made up video, and excuse my French, but it sucks so bad that, you know, some people, you know, fake these things, and then you actually have
fraud
it
is constant.
in front of you.
I mean, fraud is constant. You know.
Yeah, and it's crazy to me. But yeah, definitely not. I mean, like I said, I'm a single parent. I have a life, you know, that I need to be working every day, and these are not things that I would have stopped to think about for 1 second. I'm telling you, I was never into sci-fi. I've never watched an alien movie ever with Sigourney Weaver in it, I'll tell you that much. And then all of a sudden it was like, bam, you know, this dream happened. And after that, I was like fascinated. So no, I never did any like, you know, investigating. I didn't go to Area 51. I wish I could have the privilege to go, but, you know, like I said, single parent can't really do much that, you know.
Yeah, you just wished it on the airwaves, so they probably heard you. So they'll pick you up and take you to your home base.
They'll pick me up soon.
Pick me up soon.
Definitely.
And take me to my home base.
Well, if you don't hear me next Wednesday, that's definitely where I'm at then.
Well, then maybe you can call in from there. Hello, I'm in Area 51 with Andre.
They're keeping me in a closet somewhere.
Oh my goodness, that'd be crazy. Well, I'm going to play a little bit of music for us, and we shall be back shortly. And it's been an interesting conversation. I had some people in here, and still do. We were sharing time with Candy, who is down by the border, who has numerous alien encounters, as well as her information on the violence that is overtaking Laredo, and that has completely been blacked out by regular media and never reported on, considering they're more concerned about, yes, it's sunny in different 4 areas of Los Angeles, or snowing in 4 different areas of Chicago, as opposed to families being decapitated and their RVs being taken from them, and real problems, and as well as some of this amazing footage that I have been sent by different listeners and concerned about in Mexico with these alien craft that are clearly flying over the city, unless they're drones. But Candy doesn't think they're drones at all, as you had said, Candy, right? They're not drones.
No, I don't think so. I mean, like I said, I don't think drones are supposed to be put out in the open, like, for everybody to see. I think they're supposed to be silent enough not to hear them, so why would they make them visible to the naked eye for us? So no, I don't think that they're drones.
Yeah, they can't be drones. I mean, this footage is spectacular, unless it's staged, and that goes along with what we were talking about with fraud, and there is a lot of fraud with it. I'm not a truther. I think truthers are kind of create their own truth as they go along. I'm more of a truth seeker, or some kind of seeker of the supernatural or the knowing. And I think it's ruined by a lot of these fabricators. And I've been looking at it, and there's just thousands of different videos that clearly are just out to try to make a penny off their immigrations through this YouTube channels or whatever, because it's just ridiculous. And I think they need to keep it real. There is some interesting footage up here, though, and I'm looking forward to seeing Candy's video about your mother and the lightning storm.
I'm definitely going to get that one, too, because I can tell you right now that is not fabricated, it is not fake. I mean, maybe somebody else can see something we can in that video, like maybe it's maybe, to us it looked like a spaceship, but it really was something like a plane, but I don't think it was, just because the nature of the video is just so weird. But
well, was it just
definitely
shot
not
on
fabricated.
your camera? Was it a camera, or was it just your...
No, it was on the iPad. That's how
Wow.
it was just one of those things when she was recording the weather. I mean, it wasn't anything major, it's just that where we live, the weather was never good. Like, it's always so hot here. It never rains, and then, so she likes to capture this beautiful weather on... Like,
right, it never rains there. That's ironic. Yeah, I was going to mention that. It doesn't rain there at all.
No. Mm-mm.
And
very...
Yeah.
There have been, announcements where we're not allowed to use the water during the summer sometimes because of the drought and because of the heat. It's so hot. I mean, we reach temperatures up to 113 sometimes, 3-digit numbers, and it's just so hot. So, she likes to take pictures of beautiful weather.
Right, of course. And what was this rumor that I had heard, and going back to the Zetas briefly, did they actually poison the water supply? Is that true?
Did they poison it? I don't know firsthand if they poisoned it. I know that it has been tainted. Very recently, there were postcards sent out to certain people living in certain parts of where I live, in Laredo, not to drink the water because it was contaminated with some kind of substances and stuff that they weren't, that it was dangerous. They had to do some kind of system, like in the sewer, where they were, if you see puffs of smoke in your drain, coming out of your drain, don't be scared, because it's just a test, like that there's a leak somewhere, you just got to be careful. But it's like, scary. Like, if you can get smoke into my house through the sewer, like, what are you doing to me?
There's some kind of, they're testing the line. So the Zetas didn't poison the water supply. Or there wasn't.
It's hard to say. I mean, you never know. They could maybe, so much anger towards the U.S. that maybe they do want to poison us. I mean, but then again, our government isn't any nicer to us either. So who knows where it would have come from? I mean, it's up in the air at that point.
It really is. And I am Winter Lake, and we are streaming at QUE4.org. And I've been speaking with Candy, my witch of the border, down near the knower of all things, aren't you? Aren't you, Candy?
I am. I know everything. Ask away. I try to help.
Well, you are a vastly very intelligent reporter, and we will be signing off, and everyone have a good evening, and you can see me at winterlake.com.